And I can hear you, but the audience in the live cannot hear you. I have learned
Oh,
some
okay,
tech
cool.
things. Hello. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to be here. Okay. So today is our 2025 live of astrology. We do this every year and it's super exciting. So let's go ahead and get started because first of all, let's look at the fact that the new moon just happened and I did not touch on the moon. So I intentionally did that because it was yesterday. So I was like, do two astrologies back to back, or let's just do all of the things together. Let's just do all the things together. So, as you know, with the moon, you get energy 2 weeks before and 2 weeks after. But really, I should say a week before and a week after. It's a total of 2 weeks. And so you have 5 days and 5 days. And so it's not quite a full 2 weeks, but you have the opportunity to take that energy for 5 days. And so let's see what else. I'm going to dive into that. And then we're also going to go through every 2 weeks of astrology for 2025. And then what I'm going to do is in the comments, I will drop a link for those of you who are looking for a personalized chart to get emailed to you. And for all of you backstage, after we are done with the live, we're going to dive into your own charts and questions and really unpack 2025 and dive into this. Okay. So without further ado, let me share my screen here with you. And it's going to take me a hot second to pull it up. And here we go. I'm so excited. 2025. Let's restart by recapping 2024. 2024 was rough. It was rough. Okay. And it wasn't just me. Although, no joke, I actually had so many deaths and so many transformational experiences. And me personally in my chart, I'm coming into a whole new level of spirituality. Yeah, and that's a whole nother conversation for another day. And you'll probably see a lot of videos coming out. But the reality is I started suffering from all these medical conditions because what happens when we're really stressed and life has its clenches around our main jugular and is strangling us to death. Well, we start to physiology of our body starts to change and we physically start feeling it if we're not dealing with it. And if you could imagine the level, and I'm not even going to go into it, but there was a lot. And if you could imagine, it actually, when I finally got a diagnosis, and I say that because it's been months, they finally were like, turns out you've got a broken heart. And I was like, "Really?" And then I felt fine. So deal with your stuff, people, because 2024, I know you can't see it, but backstage people are laughing. So 2024 was rough, right? And we took it on the chin. So many of us took it on the chin, and we just kept being, tomorrow's going to be a better day. Tomorrow's going to be a better day. Well, thank God we're into 2025. And what is happening is the energy of 2024, we're going to start seeing fade away, right? And so a lot of you are feeling all these feels. Now, this kind of is part of this moon experience we're having right now. It's right here, you can see in the chart, let me move my mouse over there. Right here, it's in Capricorn in our 6th house. And so this is get it together, folks. Get it together because it has been chaos. It has been stressful. We have and I was telling everybody this in 2024 and coming into it, it's going to be rough. There's no way out of it where it's not going to be rough. Everyone was going to experience loss. That could be a loss of your home, your job, your social life, your self-identity, the journey you were on and the life you thought you were having was never going to be the same. And that's what we experienced in all different levels, some of us more extreme than others. I thought I was cool with 6 deaths. Turns out that wasn't really the whole lesson I was learning in 2024. And the reality is when you look at what everyone was going through, it hit all of us without a comparison at our core. It shook us. And your world has changed. So from now until April, it's going to start waning off. Now, when I'm talking about this, I want you to keep that in mind in really harnessing this moon. Okay. So this moon, look how close it is to Pluto right here. Now, when we look at Pluto, what is Pluto about? Pluto is about transformation and like massive transformation, and it's in our seventh house. So was I surprised that my business partner was like, I can't right now. I'm still dealing 2024. And I'm like, girl, you're cool. Come back when you're ready. Right. But that was how it manifested in my business. Thank God, because I kind of like my husband. Um, everyone knows he feeds me. So when we look at, yeah, right. You need to come on stage. But anyways, uh, so when we look at this and we're looking at this moon and it really is beckoning us. And not only that, we've got our sun here and our sun is saying the same. It's saying like, yes, I acknowledge it's been hard. We've really been dealing with a lot of crazy stuff with Mars and Pisces and Saturn, like the every planet you can imagine this year threw a fit. And we were just running around chasing 3-year-olds. It was rough. And there's not a lot you can do about it except like freaking come to your knees and beg for mercy, right? Like, I don't know how many times I was in consultations and I was like, when was the last time you prayed? When was the last time you meditated? Like, seriously, get back to the foundations because that was the only way to survive it. But now with this Capricorn energy just launching us into 2025, we are going to have some stellar times. Okay. So like, let's just go through it. There's going to be ups and downs. That's life, right? Like, and if it weren't for ups and downs, what would life be? Boring. So we also would be missing out on the whole experience we're supposed to have. And yes, I have my traditional cup of tea. Hold, please. Stephanie, I know you're backstage and no one else can see you, but I love you so hard. Okay, so when I'm sorry. Oh, yes, I'm seeing the comments. I'm so sorry. Yes, happy new year, Paula. I'm so glad you could join us. Um okay, and when we're going into this, we're going to kind of come and at this from the perspective of like every 2 weeks. So I'm doing that because it's close. It's not exact. And I just didn't feel like calculating all of it to the T, which when I send out, oh, let me put this link in for you guys. Let's see. Let me, if I can copy and paste the skills, folks. Okay. So I put this link up there in the chat so that you can come in and you can, this is super funny. Someone from the audience was calling their Instagram on my phone. And so that's not possible. I'm busy. So, but you can see in the comments that there's a link in there and go ahead and click on that. And I will send you a more accurate, personalized reading for you for the year. And I'm doing that because I think that we often go through the year blind. And then when we go into like a state of panic, that's when we reach out for help. How about we use that Capricorn energy to like adult? Let's just plan. And that's what this is about. So I'm going to be spending a lot of time with my head turned sideways now because I'm going to be looking at my screen with the chart on it. Okay. So right now, this is today and roughly about the time, this is when I pulled it up. And this is specifically targeting geographically the Pacific Northwest in Washington, United States. So again, I'm going to target this for where you are, which I guess I should have put that on the form. But I'll sort it out. We'll sort it out. Anyways, when we're looking at this, we're going to start seeing these moons transition because like I told you, there's a different energy with every new moon and old or full moon that comes. And that's the energy that actually impacts us for what we're thinking, doing, deciding, everything, and how the world is for us. Now, when we're doing this, I'd like to point out that it's not going to be exact on every moon. So all of you that are like, it's actually a day off. Yeah, I'm aware. Okay. So we're, for simplicity's sake, are going to hit this thing every 2 weeks, 52 weeks. So right now, I already talked about Capricorn and the fact that it's like buddying up with Pluto here. Now, look, we're going to go around and there's going to be some things. I'm going to point out some houses because I want you to be aware of what some of these mean because they're going to have an impact. And I'm going to talk about it. And so you'll hear me repeat it. But mainly when we're looking over here on the left, these are going to be areas of our life that we are focusing on internally. When I'm looking over here on the right, these are going to be things that are coming at us out of our control. When we look at the top part of this circle here, this is going to be what is public. And it doesn't matter how hard you try to hide it, it's just not going to happen. Okay. This is what is being seen out there in the public. Now, everything down here is private. So if you're like, I'm going through this, girl. No, they don't. So it is private. Now, that all being said, this over here in the first house, it's really about like us showing up and how we think we are showing up. When we look over here at the 10th house, this is how we're showing up in society. Now, there's two pieces to society. We've got the piece here that is going to be like our career and our passions and what's driving us. Over here, this is our social life. Now, when we look here in the 7th house, this is our partnership. And so these are kind of areas I always try to touch on. That's why I'm giving you some heads up right now. So in this partnership, this is our marriage, this is contractual partnerships. So it's marriages, business partnerships. And then we have a lot of fields down here. We got some income things I'm going to touch on. So let's go into this. Right now, we're not so focused on money today. That's today, right? And that's because, oh, whoops. Sorry, someone was joining backstage and sorry, I forgot to admit you. Welcome to the backstage. Okay, so by the way, it's my lovely sister Joy. Thanks for coming. I'm so excited you're here. Okay, so when we come over here, and we're looking at this moon, I already told you about what's going to happen, right? Capricorn is that energy of like just really focused, roll up your sleeves. We are doing the work. That's in our 6th house. So right now, you probably are feeling this energy of like, okay, I need to get my stuff together. Backstage, I'll swear more, but I gotta get my stuff together. And you're doing it with the sun too. So these are far enough apart where the sun isn't burning up the moon, because we did have that happen this year in one of our moon transitions, right? Right now, what's happening is they're starting to pull apart from each other because the moon travels faster. It's already past the sun. It's on its way. But it's about how we're showing up every day. Are you sitting in front of the TV and being like, oh, one more Christmas movie, and then I'll do the things? Capricorn's really not liking that, right? And so you might be feeling stressed from it. You might be feeling like, I got to do something. Or you might have already been like, I don't have time for this. I have things to do. That's what we're seeing with this Capricorn energy. Now, whoops, I had like all these cables. So when we're looking over here too, let's not, and this is in the daily house, meaning like every day, our habits, our routines, right? It also has to do with health. So when we're looking at this from a health perspective, some of you might be having some GI issues, right? Prune juice, harataki, lots of water, because it's a drying energy in your digestive system. So drink lots of water. You're going to be a little more dehydrated, probably because you're doing things, ideally, if you're really taking control over this energy. Now, when we're looking over here at Mercury, Mercury is in Sagittarius. This, my friends, can be like a make it or break it deal. The nice thing is it is all about at home in our casas. So what's great about that is you're really having a great time at home. Lots of communication, lots of talking, lots of playing, lots of enjoying being home. And I personally love that. Get all dressed up and get on my camera here and do things with you guys because I'm home. I love my house. um, so when we're looking at this though, and the Mercury energy, Mercury just recently started going direct again. So loving that. And then you've got Sagittarius that's playful. And so this is really great for a home environment. Even if you're by yourself, you're dancing, you're having a good time, and do it, feel it, love it, dancing all night. It's the perfect time to. It's New Year's. Well, New Year's Eve. And when we start looking back up here, like see how there's all these planets over here. And remember, I was telling you, this is how things are impacting us. So we've got a lot of like spiritual things coming in out of our control towards us. And it's really sitting here with this Neptune and Pisces vibing so hard. They love each other. Pisces is like, let's skip reality. And Neptune's like, I can make that happen, baby. Let's go. So this is Aladdin and Aladdin's carpet, and you're Jasmine going along for a ride. Enjoy those dreams, document them, write those journals when you first wake up. That'll be interesting. Have fun unpacking that with your Saturn Pisces as soon as you wake up, and Saturn being like, oh my gosh, what is going on? And trying to make logic of it. So, what I would suggest for those of you who are like me and are like, I need to make sense of this, I need to make sense of this. The easiest way to do that is to understand science. Science does have the answers for spirituality. So, you'll see those videos coming out a lot this year because I have like a whole spiritual pathfinders phase 2 where all the questions that I keep getting asked, I'm now going to unpack that and be like, listen, folks, this is how your brain works. This is how enlightenment works with your physiology. And that is what Spiritual Pathfinders Level 2 is going to be. So stay tuned for that. I'm super excited. So I'm still collecting all the questions and making sure I get them all answered. And then when we come up here, what's interesting up here is we really are coming in to more of that earth energy of like we're going to make this work, and we're putting our heads down. And so right now we do have this head down energy. If you are in a position where you're like, I'm not happy at work, but all of a sudden you're like leaning in, don't worry. That's what's going on. That's the energy right now. Love it, enjoy it, embrace it. Now, when we look here at Jupiter with Gemini, this is really a situation where we're finding we are so fortunate for the people in our lives. Gratitude is going to be amazing. Your network is going to be amazing. Talking is going to be amazing, and really spending that time together. So, oh, before we move on, which I'm going to do quick, and yes, this is all very fast because it's a lot to cover in a short period of time. Thank God I talk a lot and fast. So when we get here to Mars, Mars is still in retrograde. This is that energy that was like in 2024. It's still here. And that you're going to see as we go through these weeks as it fades. But this energy being in Leo, we got Mars, who's a warrior. We've got Leo, that is all about fire and just like being the shining light here, wanting to show up and just exploding and having like outbursts because this is retrograde. It's like trying to think of it as an engine, right? That is exploding because the engine has been going and going and going. And that V8 has been so well oiled and so well taken care of that it was always just really great car. You never had to worry about it. And now the timing belt is off. If you're not a car person, I'm so sorry for this analogy. I just like cars. So thank you again backstage for laughing. But the reality is that's what it is. It's that combustion, right? As the fuel is coming in and it's pressing up as it fires off and presses those pistons. It is that getting off with the timing. So everything is off. And so in the moment when you should be quiet, you just like say something out loud and then you're like, oh my God, that was my inside voice seriously, I did that so hard last week. It was embarrassing. And someone was asking me a very serious question, and I pretty much was like, bugger off. And I was like, wrong answer. I gotta go. Like, I'm like, I couldn't even recover from it. I was like, mic drop, have a really great holiday. Goodbye. So I love that when you do that in meetings, and that's what it was. Let's go into the next week. So this is gonna go every 2 weeks. So this now is January 14th, if you look up here. So we look at January 14th, we can see like the moon is all the way over here, right? And then we see how all these planets moved. So let's unpack this. So when we're looking at January 14th, we're mid-month, 2 weeks from now, what is going to happen is we've got the moon in Leo now, and the moon is like all about shining. The moon in Leo really likes attention. The moon in Leo is like, I need to be seen. Keep that in mind. Not only do you need to be seen, but other people are feeling this too. Take the time to see them, right? If it's anything we have learned in 2024, life is precious, right? And we also learned we have a voice and we need to use it. So speaking of that, let's come over here to Mercury, our voice. And it's in Capricorn in our 6th house. So what does this mean? One, seriously, take care of yourself. Drink a ton of water. Mercury uses a lot of water. Capricorn needs a lot of water. So watch your diet, stay hydrated, lots of amino acids and all those good things, right? So when we're looking here too, we've got the moon. I'm sorry, the sun. And so the sun here in Capricorn, we already covered once. It's really wanting to show up polished and really heads down working. Now we've got Mercury here. Here is an opportunity for you to really show up in life by articulately having conscious communication on things that are going to be action oriented, getting things done. These might be ideas. These might be like organization things. And I say organization things because you actually can also see that it's, these are all aspects. And this is how the planets communicate with each other. It's communicating up here in this house. And we've got some Saturn energy there. And now we've got Venus in here too. We already talked about the Aladdin carpet right here. And yeah, it's almost over at this point. But when we're looking at this, we've got the Saturn that likes to bring structure and order to things. Use that energy with this Capricorn. And Venus is saying, hey, let's make this work. Let's make it pretty. Let's harmonize. I want to vibe with you. It's really great for collaboration, people. So great. And it's coming up into here. So that's great. So now somebody's going to take the energy and effort to make it happen. And it'll be someone who's knowledgeable in how to make it happen. Now, when we're looking at this Pluto, the Pluto is still here. It's still here. So we still have change. We still have transformation happening in our contractual relationships. Again, this could be your marriage or your business partners, but be prepared. And it's it's an Aquarius. So this is very logical change. Now, when we come up over here, we still got the Jupiter. We still have Mars, but it's moved into our 12th house. All right. We know what the 12th house is about. And for those of you who don't, the 12th house is like really looking in the mirror. Let's just put it nicely. It's really looking in the mirror. And so what's going to happen is you've got all of this energy. You've got all these emotions and these feelings, and you have this like overwhelming, like, and what's going to happen with it? It's Mars in retrograde. God only knows. And it's in your 12th house with Cancer. So you're going to feel it. Remember when I said over here, take care of yourself, drink lots of water, take all the vitamins and supplements, make sure you're eating right. That's because this Mars energy is coming at you. And you can have a full meltdown in the middle of a public place. So plan those outings. Where can you run off and cry or throw things? That's what you want to do. Plan, because you're going to need some time. And Cancer loves to feed emotions. So try not to emotionally eat. And if you do, maybe make it some carrots, right? I enjoy that. Enjoy that. But really that is what we're going to feel hard in this transition. And when we get closer to these every 2 week transitions, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, and you will see that I do release new moon and full moon readings that really starts unpacking these a little bit more, so you can have some more direction, or you can get your own consultation, right? And we'll really look at this. And I'm saying that in this particular situation because this is going to be very hard for a lot of people. This is going to be that shedding I was talking about of 2024. And so you might be coming to a reckoning of your new rebirth. Because look, remember I said this is how they talk to each other? There is a direct line from this like erratic Mars that could show up anyhow right here to Pluto. So this is a big day. All right. Maybe take the day off. I might. I think it lands on a Monday too. I'm just saying. Okay. Now, at the end of the month, look at this. Okay, we're just really going to focus right in here because this we've kind of already covered. So when we look at all these things dumping into Aquarius, what is Aquarius? Aquarius is humanity. Humanity. It is the person who is wow, I can see it and it's not, the word is not coming to mind. This is a T moment. Political activism. See, I knew T would fix it. Okay, so political activism. That's what like this is like, right? This is really about how, if you're in a business right here, this is about how is my business, my creations, my work, what I am depositing into this society, how is it benefiting society? It's a heavy question, people. Spend some time on it. If this is related to your marriage, this will be a big piece of it too. This might be a full reflection of like, am I raising children who are going to be assets to society, or am I just creating the child who never moves out? I don't know, right? But it also could be maybe you and your partner decide to take a I'm going to make up a word. I'm pretty sure it doesn't exist. And it's okay. It makes sense to you. You will understand. But instead of saying philanthropy, I'm going to say a romantical, that's my new word, experience in your relationship. Maybe you start to donate to nonprofits. Maybe you start spending time volunteering. These are going to be some of the questions about how are we supporting and helping humanity. Maybe you decide to be that person who's going to go out and protest something. This is a big day. What is happening in January in the United States? We have a new president coming into office. Do you think these two things I just shared with you from 2 weeks ago to this 2 weeks is going to impact January? Yeah. Yeah. It's really going to impact us. And this is going to have a ripple effect on the world. Okay. So now we come back up in here. I'm not going to touch on this again, except point out that these planets are now so close together. You cannot ignore this energy any longer if you have been. Those of you who have been seeking spiritual enlightenment or that next level of it, right? Maybe you've been like that person, and I've gone through this stage. We've all gone through this stage. It's normal. So when I say this, this is not a comparison, because if you're comparing yourself, that's a whole nother conversation for another day. This is just about the journey. And in this case, there are times where we might have been like vibing and talking with deities and guides and angels and saints and, all these different things out there. And then it got a little quiet, but you're still showing up every day doing your practices, but it's a little quiet. That's okay. That's actually a normal part of the journey. And so when you're looking at this, that's what it reminds me of, is that experience of when you're just like, did I do something wrong? What happened? It's beckoning you to lean in, expanding more. It's never growth if you stop experimenting and allowing that curiosity, right? Hence why I'm launching that second level of spiritual pathfinders. So that's what this is about. And so this is that 2 weeks. Now let's go into February. Oh, I love February because I'm going to India this February, and dear God knows I need it. That got aligned well. Okay, so when we are looking at this, probably because I checked a chart. Okay, I'm back to you guys. Sorry. So when we're looking at this, you can see this kind of cleaned up here in the middle, right? This is real focused energy. And thank God, Aquarius spread out a little bit. Now, when we see the sun here and it's this close to Mercury, what that means is Mercury's on fire. Mercury is literally on fire. What happens when we're on fire? We're not talking. We're like, ah, 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 ah. So don't expect to like be able to just like really grab a lot of that Mercury energy when it's this close to the sun, because the sun is so strong and so bright that, and it's closer to the planet Earth. And so therefore it is getting blocked by the sun and it can't communicate to us. So if you're like having a hard day communicating, or like for some of you, I know in backstage, you are authors, don't even try that day. Don't even try like any of those 3 to 5 days around this. Okay. Take the time off, give yourself a break, and just trust that this moon being here in the 12th house is working some things in the background, and it's really seeding because it's got this Leo moon, and the Leo moon is asking, how are we showing up? Am I showing up the way I want to be seen? And it's an opportunity for transformation before it goes public, right? You're still behind the screen. You're still behind the curtain. You haven't stepped out yet. Don't worry, right? Because this moon is going to start making you question yourself. This is for everyone. This is a moment where you potentially could feel bad, like a victim, and start having self-talk that's not happy for you. Now, if you want to use this energy right, you're going to use that moon to fill your cup. You always have a choice, and you are the only person that can change your trajectory. And that is what this is about. So this is when you're going to be able to have this opportunity for self-love, mental self-love, so much that you fill your heart and you're like, damn, I look good. I look damn good. Everyone loves me. That is what you should be doing with this moon. I'm not saying you're all going to do it. That's why I'm warning you on the other side. But this is a great opportunity to blow your ego. And so when we look over here at Mars, now Mars has moved into our 11th house. This can come two different ways because remember, Mars is still retrograde and it's still in Cancer. So we got some feels. So Mars will either, for some of you, hell, maybe it's both of these things for some of you, but here's some options for you to contemplate. During the week of February 11th, this Mars showing up in Cancer is either you are going to have some combativeness with your social circle and your friends because there's a path that's going to change. Or for you in your own personal chart, this could show up as friends are the only thing that matter, and you are all in on that. How that shows up for you, that's up to you. This here, though, Jupiter in Gemini in the 10th house. Hello. For people that are focused on career and business, which let's just be honest, we're in the US, we're all focused on that. This is awesome opportunity. Lady Luck is on your side. How you use that energy is up to you. But when you think of Gemini, Gemini is brain, right? It's ideas, it's communication, it's thinking. Now, notice right now, there is no aspects from other planets. She is a lone star, fellas. And so when we look at this, this could show up, and this will show up different in other people's charts because I can promise you there will be aspects on your individual charts. But when we are looking at this at 11 degrees, excuse me, Jupiter and Gemini, this is a pretty good energy. And so this is a really good time to share your ideas. It is a good time to be recognized. It is a good time to just have auspicious things happen to you. If you don't know what auspicious means, it's like blessings, wonderful things, just luck happening to you. And this is more of where we're starting to come out of that energy of 2024. And we're going, oh, thank God there is a reprieve, right? So that's this one. And by the way, if anyone has any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. I'm happy to answer them. Carrying on. So let's just go down here and touch on these really quick. We already touched on these, but they were previously in this house, in our 8th house. Now they're back, they're here in the 7th house. As these, so in the 8th house, Venus and Aries, that is not happy, by the way. So be prepared for something to be shooken right there and then. But when you are looking here in the 7th house, be weary of new ideas coming in that might just be pipe dreams. Okay. Now, I'm not saying they're not going to come true. I'm saying this is a very creative time. Throw all of the Play-Doh at the wall and see what sticks, because you've got Saturn here who is not cool with that and will put you in check. And at the same time, don't put yourself in check. Bounce these ideas off of somebody. Hell, maybe that's what starts the fight over here. I don't know. But when we look over here at the daily habits and routines, our Aquarius has moved there. We already talked about that Aquarius energy and what that's like. So now we've got Mercury, the Sun, and Pluto in Aquarius. This is a double whammy because Aquarius is demanding change and taking action to make that change happen, especially when it comes to things of justice and humanitarian things. But now it's Pluto, so the real transformation is actually taking place. And we're going to see that in our daily lives. So this could be a situation where, as simple as you decided to get concerned about the planet, and your way of doing that is taking the bus to work, or you're going to start recycling, or, you know, you're going to believe in something that doesn't exist anymore. I don't know. It's Aquarius. That's how it works. So in your own chart, obviously I go into the details, but this is more fun. So when we're looking at this though, Gemini and the Sun, totally cool in Aquarius, but just be prepared. Some people are going to show up a little weird right now, and you could be suffering for some massive headaches and migraines. There is so much thinking going on. So be prepared. For those of you who are aware, get some fever fuel, get some skull cap, take them both in large amounts. Okay, maybe not in large amounts, but it's funner to say that. So take a couple cups of tea and drink those things. Keep your temperature down, because this is, your brain is really working right now. So if you're smart, that's going to be really cool, but you are going to short circuit and have those headaches and migraines. Meditation really helps midday for that. And instead of waiting for the pain to start, just force yourself midday to take a short break and meditate. And when it comes to the brain and the whole purpose of doing that to cool off your head, genuinely, you can put a wet cool cloth around the back of your neck. That helps. And then sit and meditate. I would say for 15 to 20 minutes, because this is a very strong brain energy. Okay, moving on. The end of February, February 25th. Look what just happened to our 7th house. There's like a party in there, all Pisces. Okay, so we'll come back to that in a hot minute. That Jupiter energy I was telling you about, it's still here. It's still here, and it's getting stronger. Now it's been partnered with a midheaven. And what that means is this is aligning with your voice. And now you're going to be more vocal about things. So even if you missed that first opportunity the first 2 weeks because you were too busy thinking, don't worry. This is the time to shine, right? At the end of February. So when you look at this, this might be time to launch an idea, a product. It might be time to like change how you're showing up in the world. Maybe it's through how you physically appear, right? Not, it's not that long ago. We just went through that Leo moon in the 12th house. Maybe you're like, you know what? I'm going to start dressing this way. Lean into that. So when we come back over here, excuse me, when we come back over here to the seventh house and looking at the seventh house, wow, I just realized I've been talking for 40 minutes and we're only in February. I'm going to switch this to once a month. I guess I'm just oversharing. Again, here's what I'm going to tell you to do. That link, this one here that I was sharing to here, use that link for the next couple of days. I'll leave it up until the 3rd and fill that out, and I will send you the more details for you. I just should have, in fact, in the past, I've always done it by month, knowing I couldn't make it through. I just talk too much. I don't like leaving out details. Maybe the Aquarius is hitting me sooner. Anyways, when we look at this energy here in the 7th house of partnerships, it's a lot of Pisces. And we've got happy Pisces and frustrated Pisces. And we have Saturn, who's like, dude, I did not sign up for the circus. This has got to stop. I don't like this. We have the Sun, who is like, no, seriously, let's start a commune. And then we have Mercury, who's like, yeah, but why are we not talking about this first? And you're all really funny. So Mercury will take 2 stances on this because that's what Mercury does. And Mercury is also like experiencing that Pisces, and it's like 2 fish, the twins. Like this is definitely going to show up so many ways. And so and how that will show up is you might feel like talking and then you might feel like not talking, right? You might feel like communicating about all the things and then it'll change. And it is working up here with this Mars energy. So it's going to be some feels. So let's go to the next month. So March 25th. March 25th. March 25th. When we're looking at March 25th, we're going to look at the fact that we've got a lot of Aries coming in. I mean, it is March, folks. It is March. Now, when we're looking at March, we're really coming to the end of that Mars energy. And oh, look, it's not retrograde anymore. So, first of all, on a personal note, I'm going to be celebrating the hell out of this time. On a second note, I can see too that we've got Mercury and Venus in retrograde. So for those of you who know me, it's going to be a very productive time. And for those of you who are not aware of Mercury retrograde, check everything 3, 4, 5 times. Maybe hire a professional to check it as well. Then when we're looking over here at the Venus, and Mercury in Aries has the ability to combust, meaning burn you out. So keep that in mind. And so with Venus here, though, Venus is not cool in Aries. Venus is like, hey, I was staring at this beautiful art on my fluffy pillows, eating my most favorite food, listening to my most favorite music, sitting, contemplating, reading my own favorite book, like all these things. No, this is more about all those things being disrupted. So that's kind of what's going to be happening in this time frame. Now, when we're looking at this again, we still have a lot of really good energy going on up here in our 10th house. That's great. We still have positivity coming in, and Mars finally got a tune-up and is settling down and starting to run like the engine we've been loving and taking care of all these years. So what's happening? We're starting to reap the benefits of 2024. Notice we started 2025 with all this thinking, all this shedding, like really just finishing all of that up. Now in March, the fun starts. This is when 2025 really starts. Why? Because Aries is actually the beginning of the new year. You can argue with me on that all you want. Look forward to the comments on it. But Aries is the first sign of the zodiac, and this is when the new year actually starts in astrology. And we're showing up on freaking fire. So, starting in this esoteric world, right? And then we have Pisces still here. We've already talked about this. It's still going on in our partnerships. But let's see, Pluto is still here in Aquarius in the sixth house. Change is still happening. Now we got the moon here in Aquarius, and the moon is not comfortable in Aquarius because the Aquarius is like, I don't want to feel, I just want to fix all the things. And the moon is like, yeah, but how does that make other people feel? And Aquarius is like, don't slow me down and don't tell me what to do. And the moon is like, but we have to consider other people. And Aquarius is like, damn it, I'm doing this for the other people. That's how that's showing up. So when you're looking at this, think that through. Now let's go into the next month. April, the end of April. When we're coming into April, we really see, thank God, this Mars in Leo. This is fun. This is showing up. Lots of energy into our social life that we just got done destroying, and now we're putting it back together. And so this is really good. Then we also have the fields that came up here into the first house, and the Jupiter moved over here to the ninth house. So now this is about more about learning and knowledge and experiences. And so that's where the luck has kind of transitioned into that type of a category. Now, when we look over here, Aries is in our seventh house. This is either going to be hot and fast or just hot. So what I mean by that is, let me give you this visual. Either the contracts have caught fire and they no longer exist, or you are so in, this is the only priority you have. Why? Your moon's there. You've got Mercury there. You've got Neptune that has come out of Pisces here. Neptune, not real cool in Aries. Again, Mercury can combust in Aries. Just depends on your own individual chart. Otherwise, you just become a motor mouth and then you start sounding like me. Good luck with that. And then the moon in Aries is all energy. You have to get that energy out physically. Okay. So, what I want you to do whenever you see the moon in Aries is I want you to physically do activity. And I'm not talking about like typing on your keyboard, people. I'm talking about go dig a hole, go to the gym, go like pick up kickboxing, do something, work with fire, right? Do some welding. That's one of my favorite pastimes. But do something with like that energy. You have to get it out. If you don't, you end up with actual sickness, physically, mentally, emotionally. And that just like actually screws up your whole physiology because it's a chain reaction. Everything's not supposed to work that way. Now, if you are an Aries, good luck to you, my friend. Good luck to you. Definitely during this time, watch the full moon reading and subscribe so that you can get that. So when we're going here into this Pisces, this has now moved into our home. So a lot of that Pisces work that we've seen moving down into here, now it's about bringing that energy of that Pisces, those deep thoughts, those deep feelings, all the deep and all the questioning of how the universe was made. Who is God? Who is the Great Spirit? Now you're having those conversations at home. You might be rearranging your home environment to accommodate these new findings. Pluto has moved into our fifth house. And by it moving into our fifth house, it is really bringing that energy of like rearranging the house in. And that's why I was kind of talking about that, because truly this is like a really good time to buy and sell property. This is a really good time to remodel. This is a really good time to start those types of projects. And you're in luck. You've got Aquarius here that can think that through and get it done. Okay, moving into May. We are totally going to run over. Oh my God. Backstage people, I'm going to love you. Oh, okay. May. Whew. Okay. May. So different. Such an extreme. Okay. we've got Mars up here in Leo. If you are in construction, this is going to be a great time for you. Just be careful. Take extra safety precautions, but you are going to get a lot done. If you are like in anything that is physical, right? Maybe you're a personal trainer. Maybe you're an athlete. Maybe you're doing like manual labor and you are good at it. You and your crews are going to be so hot right now. You're going to be able to get a lot done. That's what this is about. Now, with Leo here, this is another opportunity to shine. So all that work you put in so far this year, you hit May and some things are going to pay off and you are naturally going to be able to just show up and shine, especially if you have Leo in your chart. So this is really good. Look at where Leo is in your chart. Identify what planet that is. And then that's how your Leo is going to show up. So say you've got Leo in your 7th house. If Leo is over here in your 7th house, how that would show up is that is going to be about your partner. Your partner would be a Leo. So if you are like, oh, I have a Sun Leo in the 7th house, that means when this hits, your partner, you need to really pour into because that Leo needs all the energy you can give them. And if you can take care of them while this is happening, the sky's the limit. Because if you let a Leo unleash, they just light up the room. It's just like, what's the word? I'm like totally like making it anticlimactic because now I can't think of the word, but it's, oh, contagious. I almost was like going for like a virus word and I'm like, yeah, that's not good. Contagious in a good way. You can't help it. Like if a Leo walks in the room, they just light up the room. They're fun, they're energetic, they're chatty, they're so smooth. Everyone loves a Leo. So if you can pour into the Leos in your life during this time, especially in that scenario of that partnership, that's how this is going to work. Now, if you're the Leo, prepare and know that you need people to pour into you right now. So if you don't have that support system around you and you haven't built it yet, like order all of your food or pre-make all of your food and get all your clothes lined up for this time, like all of your social events, everything, like plan for this because this is going to be like off the hook. Is totally going to be bougie. I love it. Okay, so that's that. Let's move on to the next month. If I forget something, please just feel free to ask questions in the comments. But I also know that I'm going really fast. And so I have a feeling that's why no questions are coming because backstage I see you taking notes. So when we look at June, June is crazy because we've got Cancer here and all that Cancer. We've got the sun and the moon there. Hello. That's a lot of identity and feelings and thoughts and who you are in one place. And we have Mercury in here. And if you're someone like me, like I've got everything that is strong in my chart here in one house, in one sign, in a very short period of time that can't move fast enough because it's in Cancer. There's a lot of feelings, lots of feelings. Just gonna let that sit with myself for a minute. Maybe I take that time off. If I'm not around June 25th, you know why. Okay, so when we look at this and we've got this moon here and in the Cancer, it's really an auspicious time for expanding your mind, your boundaries, your horizons, your paradigm. This is a paradigm shift. And because it's Cancer, where's your focus going to be? Your family, your home. You're going to be nurturing yourself and everyone who matters to you. That's what Cancer energy is in the 9th house in Cancer. So when we are looking at these things with this moon and the sun being all about this knowledge you have received so far in your life is going to go through an expansion period. And you're really going to want to like work with that to make it comfortable. And so really right now with Jupiter, Mercury, all these guys hanging out here, self-love is really important. Now, when I say self-love, I don't want you sending me photos of like your amazing bubble baths, drinking champagne and eating chocolate. Self-love is literally taking care of yourself. You should be journaling. You should be doing art. You should be dancing. You need to express yourself. You need to spend time with your roots of your family and your children and your significant others and your home. And in my case, my dogs. So excuse me, that is the tea. I'm so sorry. So when we're looking at this, slow down, take the time. That's what this is sharing with us. Now, we have Taurus that moved into our partnerships. And so when we're looking at this, it is working with this energy up here. This is why I want to point it out. Plus, it's working with this Aries, which Saturn has moved into Aries. And it is like, oh, hell no. You're not going to tell me what to do. And Aries is like, really? Watch me. I'm going to pour fuel on the fire and I'm going to light you on fire. And then we'll see you do the thing I told you to do. Okay, so with the Saturn and the Aries, this is all like this combative energy. And so what we want to do is look at our partnerships. And with the partnerships, we've got Venus and Uranus here. Uranus is about change and Venus is that harmony. It's so happy here in Taurus. This is a great time for partnerships. Really great time for stability, for communication and connection, for creating a foundation. That's all happening right here, right now. Okay, let's move into July. I might slow down a little bit because I can't use my cheat sheet. So I'm gonna have to use my brain cells. So when we go here into the Leo in the ninth house, this is changed from that expansion of that Cancer energy, and now it's back to that like pride and that being seen. Right now, we've got it in Mercury, which actually they get along really well. And so now, when we're looking at how we're expanding through more knowledge and the fact that we're being recognized for our knowledge. And we really want to shine here. And we like being around other people who are very shiny. And when we look at our moon, again, we need to nurture. It's still nurturing here because with the Leo requires a lot of affirmation. And so this is again, this opportunity where whenever you see Leo moon, remember, no negative self-talk. We're talking positive. We're telling ourselves we're amazing because we are. And we have Mars that moved in here into the 10th house. So again, this is an opportunity to get things done. However, it is in Virgo, and this is a totally different energy. Virgo is very like, let's think this through. Let's look at these things. Let's poke at things. Let's do like really critical thinking. The criticality of this with the Mars, be careful. Be careful here because you could end up like in a situation. What I mean by that is you might do things, say things, or try things that you just do spontaneously, and you really need to think it through. And that's how you're going to be able to get through it. And so maybe have a plan before this energy starts coming in. That way you're not getting so like overwhelmed by it. And also look at how these planets have started spreading out a little bit. And we have just this real big focus over here. These are the things that are going to be impacting us a lot from other people. And so we do have some feelings coming in from some other people. In this case with Jupiter, it means that it could be a situation. Jupiter is like tends to be this energy where like females could come into our lives and change an experience for us for the positive, right? This could be a situation of an inheritance. This could be a situation of like, because usually Jupiter can bring like financial gains. It's always about a loss with a gain. And so even though we've had all these losses, this might be where the gain is being deposited from these other losses we had throughout this last year. Okay, I'm going to move into August. So when we go into August, look at how spread out all of this is. Look at the center here. You're gonna feel scattered. It's okay. It's okay. You're gonna feel scattered. Now, when I say that you're going to feel scattered, again, we've got like a lot of this private energy down here. We have Pluto shaking things up. Now, the reason I want to point this out is because Pluto, Aquarius, retrograde, second house, your income is going to get messed with. Okay. So do not make any irrational decisions that will financially hurt you in the long run. Pluto doesn't do things short. Pluto is long term. So I mean, it hits you in the face, but at the same time, this is making sure you are financially stable. You're doing it in this triangle here, right? And this triangle here is really important. This is your career. So don't shoot yourself in the foot for an opportunity that is short term. Try to balance the two, your career with that short term income. Because this could be a situation where maybe your business pops off, maybe your book becomes a bestseller, maybe you sign an amazing deal, and or maybe you just get an opportunity that you've been waiting for that does have long-term reaping benefits. Don't leave one thing for the other though. Okay, that's the message here, because you have this Gemini energy in Uranus in the sixth house. This is about change as well. And this is about big idea type changes. Again, bringing in that long-term energy. But it's working up here in Libra, who's seeking balance, and our moon and our Mars are up here. So even though Libra shows up like super sweet, so kind, bringing in harmony, we all love our Libras. They're fun, they're smart, they're here to make sure all of us are taken care of equally. Great. Don't let that Mars get too bossy here, because Mars is not happy. Mars is like, Libra, we are just going to force it. And Libra's like, you can't force it. Well, they're partnering up with the moon. So it's a whole time. This is a lot of mom energy too. And so when you think about like your mom down here, we definitely have some mom stuff going on, because we've got Saturn, who's definitely a parent, retrograde with Aries. So there's a lot more of that fiery energy coming in here. So those of you who are younger, your mom is going to start trying to control your life. Tell her, thank you. I love your advice. You're the most important person in my life, but I heed your advice and I'm going to go do this. Or thank God I was going to do that. And I'm really glad you gave me that advice. Right. And moms are super critical. We just are. So we love you all though. Totally. With all of our hearts. But it's not because we're not going to tell you what we think. And if you're a good mom, that's what you do. So when we sit here and look at this, though, we've got Neptune here that is still not cool, but now it's partnered up with Saturn. This is really rough. And so this is another time where it's like this triangle, it actually is a full like kite. And so what that means is like it has quite a bit of energy. And you look at where the energy is trajecting, which is really up here in your 10th house. So this is really going to impact you for how you're showing up. And that's why I'm saying, like, be intelligent, think logically, think rationally, lean on your partner who is Jupiter, Cancer in the 7th house, who can bring some perspective, right? Is this good? Will this pass? All those types of things. Okay, moving on. September. I'm so over. We're going to go like 10 more minutes and then we're going backstage. So when we are looking at this, we still have a very spread out energy, but now it's very more unfocused. We have like planets partnering up. They're going on hiatus. These two are getting ready to get into a combustible. These two, that's interesting. Okay. So let's sit here and look at this. First of all, we've got Pisces over here. Oh, wait, let's talk about, okay, we're going to go all the way around on this one. I'll be quick. Pisces energy, first house, Saturn still in retrograde. Saturn wants control. Pisces is like, let's just keep thinking about all the big things in life. And Saturn's like, no, let's be present and aware. So there's some struggle there with your own identity and how you see yourself showing up. You really are thinking for some reason that you're a spiritual guru, and Pisces is like, that's not a real job. That's what's happening. Now, when we look at Neptune showing up, my phone's blowing up and it's super funny. I'm only saying that because it's blowing up with comments about the live. So I'm like, you're watching, but you're sending me text messages. Way to go. So Neptune in Aries retrograde. This is, again, it's not a very happy environment. When we look at this, and we've got the Neptune, whoops, we've got the Neptune here with Aries. Neptune is that Pisces energy. It really likes to be fluid. It really likes to think about the universe, not being grounded in the planet. And Aries is on fire, wanting to get things done. So you take fire and water energy and you throw it out into the ether. That's what's happening. How many times have we seen these episodes and all the space launches, right? That's what's going on in this energy right here. So when we're looking at this being in your second house, you're going to be struggling with the job or any other type of, did you break it? Yeah, right. uh, oh, I see. I don't know which link you're talking about, Paula. You're saying that there is a link not found. And if I broke it, Paula, let me know what link you're talking about. If it's the form, like the Google form to get your own personal reading. But I also know you had a backstage invite. And so I don't know if you're looking for that. The backstage invite is in the app. And so use that. If you're talking about the Google one, just before I wrap up here, I'll throw it in the chat again and I'll grab a different link. I don't think that it broke, but that would explain maybe why all these people are messaging me on my phone. Okay, so back over to the chart. So this is definitely like another thing about the job, if that's what you've got going on. And we've got this pattern here again, but it's shifted and it's shooting right over here into our identity with the Libra and the Gemini. This is all really, really good energy. This is really, things are going to happen to you right here at the end of September, where you're given an opportunity for balance and harmony through others. And it's going to be very vibing. So that could be super fun. Now, all this other energy that you might be struggling with is coming into that. And so really keep seeking and have your eyes open, your awareness open for those energies. Now, when we come over here into Uranus, it's now retrograde in Gemini in this house, which is like your upbringing. And as you become an adult, this is your immediate family. So if your kids start acting crazy, yeah, they're pushing boundaries. That's happening. They got a little like idea in their head and they're going to try to take over the house. Maybe it's something like that. Imagine that. That's what this energy is. Now, if you're still living at home or you haven't started your own family yet, that is an opportunity where you're dealing with your siblings and your parents, right? Same kind of concept. This is about exerting your own mental independence. Okay, Jupiter here in Cancer is going to be in the Casa house and the actual house. So this is about feelings and enjoying your family and loving on yourself and others. And it's a very beautiful time because it's Jupiter, which is very playful. And so this is a great time. If you are trying to get pregnant, this is probably what's going to happen. If you're trying to adopt, this is probably what's going to happen. If you're having challenges in your own home with your own children, this is going to be a great time. Venus in Virgo in the 7th house. You're looking at your contractual relationships very deeply. So in business, you might be reviewing contracts to get them to be a little more aligned. In your marriage, same thing. Your contracts just could be changing because you're looking at them because you've grown a lot, right? We're getting towards the end of the year. A lot's happened. And now it's time to look at the beautiful side of that and bring more beauty in. How can this be more harmonious, right? Maybe you start a profit sharing plan. Maybe this is a situation where you and your partner decide to start a different savings account, right? Like that maybe this is just time to plan a vacation. you've got Virgo here that is critically looking at things. I'm telling you the positive side of it because Virgo has a tendency to also tear things down. So that could be happening too. But we're going to lean on that Venus to pull the positive energy out of this. Seek harmony at the end of September here. I touched on that. Okay, so let's move on. October. October, we get a really strong trine here. So now the energy that's working together is our social life, our partnership, and our communication and short-term travels. So this is a really good time, October, to be able to start doing some trade shows, right? Take short vacations and get away from all of the chaos and take a weekend away with your significant other. Maybe it's when you start planning your end of year for your business. Maybe it's starting to align your holiday sales. I don't know. But it does have to do with your partnerships. Now, keep in mind, Scorpio here, I'm just going to kind of blanket this energy. You've got Gemini, you've got Mars, and you've got the Sun. Gemini and the Sun together, having this combination of active communication that has to do with identity. Okay. Now, first, let's talk about this from a business perspective, because I was just giving more examples to that of how this trine is working. When we're looking at this with Scorpio, be alert and be aware of the hidden you cannot see. Why? Because over here, we have that potential for that to come in. Now, but you do have Jupiter. So there's that. But when you're looking at this from your relationship, this is a very good time for those types of like things to come out, right? And when these things come out or these discoveries happen because of that Scorpio energy, because Scorpio is always watching and sees the unseen. And so everything is going to start getting questioned. Do not become a conspiracy theorist about your partnerships. That's not what I'm asking you to do. But I am asking you to be aware of this because it is going to give you some valuable information because you're going to be looking at this from a very critical eye of questioning everything. Now, you've got that Pisces energy because this is all water, right? When you see all the triangles like this big, it's always that one element, and this is all water. So we also have these really deep experiences with with Pisces in here, and it's in our friendship house. And again, the Saturn's not happy. We've got rose-colored glasses on right now with Neptune and Saturn in retrograde. That means that we are not seeing the obvious. You might be forming enemies right now in your social life. And maybe your partner is putting you in check with that so that you can experience this Jupiter of this spaciousness that can come from it, right? So that's kind of how you can see that playing out. November, we have Pisces moving up here into the 9th house. This is a really great time to expand knowledge and knowings. Even things you have never thought of learning before and experiencing before, they're showing up now. That's what this is. So that's how this is going to happen. And if you make any plans for travel, maybe you make some plans for university. Like there's all these different experiences for like longer term, like expansion type stuff that happens here. When you're looking at that right now during this time, I would say your Saturn is going to bring you caution, but lean into that and use it as a planning tool so that you can gain the benefits of this time. Now, we still have a disruption coming in from Pluto here that is definitely going to impact us. And how it's going to impact us is going to be unique to each individual. But just be aware that there is a transformation that is upon you here at the end of next year. And then when we come into the 6th house, the 6th house is got the Mars and Sagittarius. Finally, Mars is happy. And it's all about having fun. This is also a really good time to go out and party and just be smart about it because your sun is here too. Gotta love that. And it can be a little too people pleasing. So this energy here, you have that energy. Sagittarius likes to make people happy and have fun and a good time. Check your bank account. Don't overspend. Check your capacity for what you can handle and don't overdo it because this type of energy, it's really easy to deal with. And Sagittarius needs time to retreat, which is really nice because we've got this Scorpio, a Venus, and Scorpio Gemini here, still in retrograde, but still we have this here. So there is some energy at home for us to go and process and to nurture. And I would lean into that because you're going to be exerting a lot day in and day out during this Sag season. And then Jupiter moves into Cancer in your identity here of how you feel like you're showing up. So you're feeling pretty damn lucky right now. And you're like, I'm unstoppable. And you've got Uranus, Taurus, retrograde over here. So there's going to be some transformations in your social life here, and it's going to be coming from a practical stance. Now, wrapping up the year, wrapping up the year, we're going to end 2025 with Pisces up here. We are showing up pretty big, our midheavens and Aries. But we've got Pisces over here. We've got our Capricorn over here. So when we've got Pisces here in the ninth house, it's really, really expansive, really expansive. This is definitely an opportunity for those of you who have been really pushing on spiritual enlightenment. It's just going to pop off. Even if you're not seeking it, you just might stumble and fall into it. Because that is really a lot of this energy right here. Pluto's still going through transformation, right? And a lot of it's coming from your social life and how you see yourself. So there's a lot of self-identity coming in from other people's impact to you. This energy here of the seventh house is extremely combative, okay? It is fighting up here with this. So when you're like, hey, I just want to check out and meditate, it's not happening. What is happening is they're fighting with Capricorn, and Capricorn's like, today we are working. You haven't done your laundry in 2 weeks. Those sheets need to be changed. And you've been late for work twice this year. You better show up on time. In fact, you better work overtime and just like get all the things done. You are behind the clock. It doesn't help that Mars is here. If anybody has IBS at the end of next year, it's going to be a whole time. Get yourself some slippery ale. You're going to need it, my friends. So, but the reality is these other planets are totally cool. They're really good here. So, but there's this combative energy going back and forth with fire and earth. You have a lot more earth than fire. So earth is going to win, but just be aware that you could end up with some like erratic desire to like work yourself to the bone. That's because that's what happens when those two work together. Capricorn and Aries, Capricorn and fire in general. That's what happens because Capricorns just love working. So Mercury in Sagittarius, totally vibing, totally fine, super fun. Really looking to have a good time. A lot of it is through communication. And so let's see. Anyways, that is 2025. Now, I promise you, I would put in these final notes. So hopefully this is the link that Paula was talking about that I broke. So this final note that is going up now, this is so you can see, you can click on this. You can get your own personalized chart. I will email it to you. Just fill out that form with all the information because I need it so I can pull up your chart. Some people are going to be like, hey, I don't want to give you all this information. That's fine. I can't give you a chart. Peace. Totally fine. Some of you are going to go through and be like, you know what? I don't know exactly what time I was born. And the time I was born, they weren't recording times. Do your best. Find out. Call mom if she's still around. Call someone. Call auntie. Hey, do you know when I was born? Was it in the morning? Was it in the afternoon? Just kind of give a guess. The closer you get to the actual time, that's why I ask you to get it from your birth certificate, the more accurate you are about the time, the more accurate your chart is going to be and your reading I'm going to send you is going to be. Why? Because the moon is actually like, it moves really, really fast. And so because the moon travels so fast, every minute the moon moves and it goes into a new sign very quickly. And so I just want to make sure that I get the planet and sign aligned so that you actually are getting a reading that is going to help you for the year. So that is all, my friends. Subscribe to the channel so you can get the monthly, bi-weekly moon readings. That'll go deeper into all of this more than I just did. I'm sorry I ran over. It's a thing. It happens, but I really wanted you to get the information. I would say watch this on 0.5 speed, but I talk so fast that might be hard. So just fill out the form. I'll get you your chart and it'll break it down and it'll be in writing so you can map it out to your calendar and be like, oh yeah, don't spend money right now. Ooh, this is when I'm going to fall in love. Like whatever it is. This is when my business is going to be the best. Whatever. Right? So go ahead and fill that out. I'll get you your chart. I am going to close that off at the end of the 3rd, by the end of the evening on the 3rd. And the reason is because I can only do so many. And I don't want to be like in March and someone asking for this and be like, dude, that time passed. This is over. That's how it's going to happen. Okay. Goodbye. Happy New Year's to all of you. And